By the end of this lecture, you're going to be walking away with an insane understanding of peptides, especially the ones that can transform how you look and how you feel. We're going to be ranking them as per usual on a tier chart system from S, being super, all the way down to D. So by the time this video ends, you'll know exactly what's worth your attention and what is not. Now, I need to preface this video is not about pharmacology. We're not talking about traditional medications, and we're not touching steroids or anything in that category. We're definitely not wasting time on older peptides or outdated, weaker peptides like Ozempic. That's old stuff. So we're also not going to be covering things like minoxidil or dutasteride and other mainstream drugs. Those type of things deserve their own video and their own deep dives, so I'll do them separately in due time. What we are doing today is breaking down the peptides and research-grade injectables that are shaping this looks maxing scene in 2025. Contrary to what you might think, there aren't hundreds of these compounds out there. There's only so few, and so this list is actually pretty small compared to my other tier charts. So to make this chart complete, I've had to include some extremely niche things, very highly experimental compounds that most normies haven't even heard of. Some of these aren't even peptides, right? They're actually a mix. Some of them are kind of weird, but when we get there, I'll make it very, very clear because they are somewhat risky, right? There's not that much research behind them. So yeah, I want it to be as extensive as I could. Stick with me throughout this whole video and you'll understand the landscape at a level that almost nobody online does. Let's start at the very top of S tier. S tier, these are going to be ones that actually change the game, that are going to give you the most results. They're heavy hitters in 2025, and they're the closest thing to having guaranteed results in the peptide space and the research compound space, you could say. So the first thing is going to be Retatrutide. Retatrutide sits firmly in S tier. It's popular for a reason. Think of it as Ozempic 2.0, but way more powerful. It annihilates your appetite, accelerates your fat loss, and reshapes your body's fat composition almost faster than anything else we have in the market right now that's at least accessible. If your goal is to tighten up your body, look leaner, sharpen your face, or reveal your bone structure in your face that's been hiding under fat, Retatrutide is going to be your savior. It's still in clinical trials and it's not FDA approved yet, but so was Ozempic for quite some time. And so there's a lot of data out there and a lot of feedback, real world results. As for side effects, people talk about nausea and fatigue in the beginning, but as you ease into it, those effects become a bit more manageable. So S tier. Melanotan 2 is another peptide that easily ends up in S tier. Abbreviated as MT2, this is for anyone that has pale skin. This stuff is transformative. It deepens your skin tone, increases visual contrast, and makes your jawline, eyes, and bone structure pop even more than what you thought is possible via tanning. So really what it does is accelerate tanning for you. Even subtle color changes can completely change the way your face looks because, warmer tones are going to sharpen everything and bring your features to life. And as a bonus, it also blunts your appetite, which pairs perfectly with a cut. So the side effects are going to be very similar to Retatrutide with that nausea, but also libido spiking. So you could consider that a pro and con depending on your situation, but there's also occasional flushing where you're going to turn red in the face. And this mostly happens if you overdo it. So you want to start low and build up typically with this sort of stuff. And in the looks maxing world, this is considered foundational. A lot of people go through with this route when it comes down to peptides. And so it deserves an S spot easily because of its remarkable effects that are almost instantaneous. Of course, you have to have some sunlight. It's the same thing as tanning, but yeah, S tier. Maybe not as impactful as the S tiers, but BPC 157 is easily a high A tier. It's a healing accelerator. Whether you've torn something in the gym, damaged your skin with a peel, or just want faster recovery, BPC 157 speeds up repair dramatically. Most research is still in animals and it's not FDA approved, but anecdotal evidence is out there and it's pretty overwhelming. Athletes, lifters, people that deal with skincare issues are all using it. It's not going to be like a magic thing, but if you care about recovery, this one's essential and it is going to help you with the way you look, but I'm going to have to put it in A tier because it's not as influential. CJC 1295 combined with epimorelin. You're almost always going to find these in combination together because they boost your natural growth hormone production, improve your sleep, accelerate your fat loss, and help you recover all together while working with your body instead of overriding it. This is not the same as blasting growth hormone, which can come with heavy side effects. This is a more natural and sustainable approach. It's technically still experimental and not FDA approved, but it's a staple for anyone that's serious about dialing in their physique. So I wouldn't recommend, but it's still going to be up there because of its effects. IGF-LR3. This one's a bit controversial. It's one of the most potent tools for building lean muscle and improving recovery and creating that dense full look. So some people even experimented with local injections to the face or the jawline to increase bone density or fullness, but that's highly experimental and it's not backed by any strong research. Still, for muscle and recovery, it's a powerhouse and it's quite effective. I just want you to remember it's potent and it's not FDA approved. and it demands caution. And for that reason, I can only put it in B. On second thought, I think I'm going to put this in A because in comparison to the other stuff in B, which I'm about to show you guys, it's a lot better, but it barely makes A. Now, another peptide that lands in A tier 2 is GHKCU. It's going to be your go-to skin peptide. Everyone's talking about it on TikTok and social media. It boosts your collagen production, smooths out your texture, evens your skin tone, and it might even help you with hair growth. It's widely used for high-end skincare, and it's supported by good research. Some people actually use it in topical applications, and it's not instant. The results come slowly and steadily, but they're very much real. So this is going in A. Cerebral lysin. This lands pretty up there because it's very, very much effective. This is not a single peptide. It's rather a mixture of neuropeptides and amino acids. And the reason it goes up there is because it's very, very effective. A lot of people in Europe use this to support their cognitive function, memory, and long-term brain health. In the looks maxing space, it's not gonna change the way you look. So really, I'd only consider this if you wanna improve your brain function, your decision-making skills, and if your lifestyle is, pretty neurotoxic with bad stuff that you shouldn't be taking, this can help you, come back to baseline. It's not going to change your face. Again, it's just going to change how you use your face, potentially. Tesamorelin. This one's not too great. This one's extremely niche. And, it is somewhat effective for what it does. It is not FDA approved, surprise, surprise. And its main job is going to be reducing your visceral fat. It's clean, it doesn't cause bloating like other growth hormone out there, and it's gonna indirectly improve your facial aesthetics too. There is some clinical backing that's very, very strong, and again, that's why it's on here. And a lot of people tolerate it well, and the results are definitely real, but it's not as popular. It's not gonna do too much for you, so B tier. Oxytocin and GB115. I just put oxytocin to keep things simple. This one's going to be all about improving your mood and presence. They help with sociability, reducing your anxiety, and making you feel more grounded during interactions. So if you're a complete freaking aspie, you could consider this. This one is FDA approved and it's for medical use, while GB115 is similar, but it's still experimental. So feel free to look more into these if you're like weird when it comes to how you carry yourself socially. Just knowing that they're out there is helpful if you just have anxiety or you don't know how to be more sociable. For that reason, this is going in B. Semax. This is usually in the form of a nasal spray. It boosts your focus, your memory, and your motivation without the typical crash you see with other stimulants. It's widely used in Russia and has a decent safety profile, but it's still not FDA approved despite this. So the reality is it's not going to change your looks. It's not going to change how you look, but it can get you dialed in. And yeah, it's pretty game changing when it comes to using your brain. So this is going in C tier just because it's a bit overhyped. It's a stimulant, right? There's other stimulants out there that are just as effective. MOTS-C. This is going to be a mitochondrial peptide that's focused on fat utilization, endurance, and cellular energy. It's more for long-term longevity. It's like that sort of tool for you. It's something that'll change your aesthetics in the near future. Think of this as like a long-term investment because it's not going to be as impactful in the moment. Early research does look promising though, but the human data is still limited, and for that, it's going in D tier. Ceramorelin is an FDA-approved gentle growth hormone booster. It's, pretty much prescribed for people that have growth hormone deficiency, and it's well tolerated. It's safe, but its impact is pretty modest, and it's better suited for older people or people that are, playing the very, very long game. So it's not instantaneous when it comes to results, and it almost takes too long to kick in. So as opposed to these other peptides, it falls pretty short, down in D tier. Noopept. It's not a peptide, it's actually a nootropic. If you don't know what a nootropic is, it's known for, short-term cognition enhancement and sharper mental clarity. And, it does build up tolerance if you don't cycle it well. And it's often stacked with other nootropics like Semax. And in terms of aesthetics, it's practically irrelevant. So this is going in D tier. I thought I removed this one. Palmitoyl tripeptides. This is a very, very soft support in regards to anti-aging. You'll find them in eye creams and anti-aging serums. They offer mild hydration and skin barrier support, but the results are very subtle. So unless you're an aging unless you're pretty old watching this, then you can consider this, but they're not going to change your face, and we're all pretty much young. So, B tier. So that's pretty much everything, you guys. This wraps it up. I know the title does say peptides, and some of these that I included aren't even peptides at all, but I included them because they're part of the same experimental landscape, you could say, and people in the same scene kind of use them in a similar manner. Anyways, I'll do another video where I cover pharmacology and other substances in the space. Let me know if you agree with my list down in the comments or if I missed anything. I'll be sure to cover it in due time. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, and I'll try to post more often. See you.